a woman believed by her own testimony that she, obviously we're talking about a case where for whatever reason she does not have the get in front of her, the divorce papers in front of her, because obviously then there's no question. So now a woman doesn't have a get.
Right.
So there's the case where she says in front of her husband. There's a case where she gets betrothed to somebody else in front of her husband. And like we said, there's other cases. For example, if the Rav who did the get is testifies, even though he's only one witness, we can certainly go by that. What if she says not in front of her husband but in front of a beis din? So most agree that that's even more powerful than if she said it in front of her husband, because the whole thing of her husband is based on she's not going to have the chutzpah to say in front of him. A beis din is how much more of a bigger chutzpah even it would be. Some say no, only in front of that specific beis din. Then we have, if it's not in front of her husband, what if it's in front of somebody else, which obviously is weaker than in front of her husband because it's not going to be the same chutzpah. And then this idea that a woman won't have chutzpah, there's all kinds of of possible things that break down this chazakah, that make this chazakah no good, that make it that we can't presume, because when we can presume something, there's a certain strength that it has to have. So, for example, one of the things, the more general things we said, in these times, people have more chutzpah. So we no longer can say that a woman will not have the chutzpah to do this. Also, for example, we said, like, we're now talking about the case. What if she said it not in front of her husband? So then she's not believed. But then what if she goes back and says it in front of her husband? So some say it's so what's the difference? She didn't lose her status, and some say no. Once she said it in front of, because where did she say it? She didn't say it in front of her husband. She didn't say it. She didn't go in a closet and say it to herself. She said it. She made up. She's publicizing this thing. So now that she's already said it not in front of her husband, she's gonna. So it's not. So now she has to. She has to go and protect her. She has to go cover her first lie with another lie. In this case, maybe we can't necessarily say that that she won't have chutzpah anymore. And so now the Mechaber continues because of Harosh. The Rosh writes, the kol shehu ba'ir kishniskadsha la'acher mikir befonav. That when it comes to the case of where she betroths somebody else, that we say it has to be in front of him. If it's not in front of him, it's not worth anything. But he adds that the Rosh brings that, what does it mean in front of him? It doesn't mean she. Okay, let's come. I want to get married to you. Okay, wait. Bring the chuppah to my ex-husband's house, and we're gonna set it up right in front of his house. We'll knock on the door. Then as soon as he opens it, we'll be like, surprise, Ariat Megudeshesli. Right? So what does it mean in front of him? Kol shu ba'ir. As long as he's in the city. If he's in that same city, right, that means he's there. That's called in front of him. V'yesh chelkin, says the Ramah. V'yesh chelkin. Maharik. Who was that? Do you remember? Yaakov something. Can't remember.
The Cordovero? No, I don't know.
I'm thinking of Vile. Yeah, maybe.
No, it was Yosef Colon Raboto.
So
one in France passed away in Italy.
Yeah. So there's another opinion that says no, but inon bifnei bailam mamish. It must be actually in front of him. Not in the same city. So the Rosh says in the same city, but not everybody agrees with this. That's the Rama mentions. The Mechaber just brings, so the Mechaber obviously holds by on this thing of the Rosh, that as long as he's in the city. That's called in front of him. One second, let me just see if that's the next thing. So Chafei, the Siv Katan Chafei. The Kol Shehu Ba'ir V'chulim. As long as he's in the city, it's called in front of him. Yesha Kosav the Hainu Davka Ba'ir Ketana Ebeininis. So now the Ehven Brura brings as the Ezras Nashim, who says that what does it mean that, meaning even according, that he says even according to those that hold that within the same city is considered in front of him, that's specifically talking about in a small city or a medium-sized city. I will be Gedayla, but in a big city, after Shita boy before of Mamish, even according to this, even according to the Mechaber, to the Rosh, right, that the Mechaber brings. So says that's notion that this needs to be that even this would need to be in front of him. The Efshe Shalei Shama Abal Megadushin, because maybe he didn't hear about it, right? It's like, for example, a perfect example. Let's say Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh, if somebody's getting married to somebody's ex-wife, certainly if they're getting married to somebody's wife, everybody knows about it, right? It's Hobart Street. Everybody's in your business. On the other hand, in New York City, there's no, what's it called? What happens in Flatbush and in Crown Heights and Manhattan and Borough Park and what do you? It could be 2 years and you're not going to hear about it.
Right.
Now I don't know what his parameters are for a large and big city. I mean, large and medium and small, but that's just an example. And there are those, the Yad Arin, who pushes away his words and says that no, there's no difference. As long as he's in the city, he's in the city. There's no difference between big city and small city, whatever it is. So now, V'hod Amrinon, says the Mechaber, this, that we say that Ein Isha Me'iza B'fanav and Me'iza Ponav B'fnei Baila. Oh wait, sorry, no. The next Sifkatan is also has to do with this. Kishniskacha, the culture will be Kishniskacha, as long as he's in the city when she was betrothed. B'mokir adin b'tshuvas harosh aili shenis eis. Even though the Mechaber says Niskacha, she got betrothed, in the Rosh, it actually is talking about where she actually got married, meaning not just a betrothal, but it was a consummated marriage. Why? So why should we make such a difference? Why dafka by who's this? This is also the Ezras notion. A lot of opinions coming out of the Bible show here. So what's the difference? The nisuin like of the inshi betzina, because nisuin, a person will not do in how do you say betzina, like hidden, like privately.
Well, on the down low.
Yeah, privately, on the quiet. Yeah, quietly.
Yeah.
Now remember, we're back then. The different stages of marriage were often done at different times or whatever it is. So, for example, by us, the Hariat Mikodeshes Li, and right, meaning all these things we do one after the other, the ksuba and the kiddushin the edison
Yes,
and
sir.
yeah, nisuin. This is all done, over the course of a day. Back then, it wasn't like that. He could be Makadisher, but then not. But then they wouldn't actually. I mean, the betrothal is just he's now you're mine. That's it. But they're not actually consummating the marriage, and not actually like doing So so nisuin people don't do quietly. Aval Edison avid inish the mikdash betzina. However, Edison, right, at least back then, before they had two cameramen and a drone, trying to get the perfect shot of him putting the ring on her finger, right? Which means, in theory, maybe the Ezra Snachim would agree that today, that in our day and time, that the kedushin there would be no difference between the kedushin and the edison, because it's not done. It's never done. It's done the same
Yeah,
night.
but yeah, we do the same day, right?
Al kain ba'i b'fun of mamish, and therefore, when it's only he's only mekadisher, but there's no nisuin yet, then it's not called. It has to be actually in front of him, because it's not a public thing that's people are going to know about. However, in the words of the mechaber, kam nefurish naka duha din gam imrak niskacha. So, according to the very words of the mechaber, right, he says the chol shehu be'ir kishin iskadisha la'acher. So, according to the mechaber, he holds very quite clearly that this is also the rule if he's only betrothed her. But however, even according to the mechaber, it's possible to say the davke be'erusin she oisem maise umistama mifaris mamilsa. That specifically by the erusin, right? That she's doing an act, and probably it's something that's publicized. That in other words, that's the people will know about. But then we say that a woman will not have the chutzpah to do kiddushin as long as her husband's in the city, right? Which proves that he must not be her husband. He must have actually given her a divorce. But when she's saying my husband divorced me, even if he's in the city, that's not counted. Meaning, because so Edison we know is going to be publicized. Kiddushin, fine. Not everybody holds this. Some hold this a differentiation there. But by even Kiddushin, if she's doing an act, so it has a more of a strength to it, and therefore, as long as he's in the city, she's not going to have a chutzpah to do this if it's not true. However, in the case that from all this, but this for sure does not apply. It only applies to when she gets betrothed to another man in front of him. Then we say that if he's in the city, it's called in front of him. However, in the original case where she told her husband, "You divorced me," that specifically is when she's in front of him saying it to him. It's not. We don't. What does it mean in front of him? As long as he's in the city. No, that doesn't apply to that. Why? Because she's not doing. She's telling somebody else, "My husband divorced me." It doesn't have the same strength. She's not doing an action, and therefore that would have to be specifically only when it's in front of him. Then we say when it's mamish in front of him, that a woman will not have the chutzpah to do it to say that if it wasn't true. ויש מאחרינו דנשא נקטו שגם באמירס גרשני ביילי עם הבעל בעיר נחשב הדבר כבפניו כיוון שסייף לידי מזה. And there are those, however, right? If Rav Lobkovsky asks you pretty much any question so far in this whole simon, that he answers machlekes. Not like it. Koopman, what is it? The Shabbos shows some safer. And apparently, yeah, it's the Chasam Sefer. That's what it is. That say that no, it's there's no difference. So some say no. We don't make any differentiation. Also, in the case of Gershani Bailey, if she says what does it mean if she says he divorced me, not in front of him? If she's in the same city, that's still called in front of him. And if she's out of the city, then it's called not in front of him. Why? Because then he's going to find out about this because it's in the same city. V'yesh shetzididu. There's those that leaned. Who's the yesh that leaned? The chen teiv, and that's nashim, who lean to say that the lahasevim shamiris geshani by tzrichelis b'fnei bezdin. But wait a second. How about those that require that her saying, "My husband divorced me," has to be in front of a bezdin? So then, in that case, certainly it's enough that her husband's in the city. Meaning, even if we're going to say that if she just tells a random people, my my husband divorced me, and that has to be in front of him, and not it's not good enough in the same city. However, if it's in front of a base, then she's saying it, then it would be enough. Right, so according to those that say it has to be in front of a beis din, then if when she says it in front of him, according to them, for sure it would be enough that if he's in the city and she's saying it in front of a beis din. The hoba amira be beis din mefasma daber, because when she says it in a beis din, right, as we know, the people from the beis din will then go to the mikveh, and 2 minutes later, everybody's gonna know all the cases that came up today. No, as we know, a beis din is supposed to be very discreet and keep things very confidential. But however, the mistama beis din mafki lekol lamed al amechakav abir. That in such a case, meaning obviously in not in every case is beis din gonna go and put the word out. However, in this case, right, you imagine that what's a beis din gonna do? A beis din's gonna look into this thing. They're gonna ask around. Do you know anything about this divorce? Do you know what's it called? Whatever. So in this kind of particular case where beis din's gonna have to look into it, and they're gonna have to do an exploratory committee. So the word's for sure going to get to him very, very quickly, and therefore, according to those that say that a woman who says that my husband divorced me, that it's believed that specifically when it's in front of a beis din, in that scenario, it's in the city is good enough. Now that Amma said, and there are those that hold that it has to that no, in the city is not good enough in any of these cases, but rather they all have to be mamish in front of the husband. B'darkei Meisha hevi Rama makar dinei mitshuvas hamarik v'rivash. Oh, b'chalkas mechekik pik b'zeh. So the Rama brings it from Marik and the Rivash, and the chalkas mechekik argues with this. Shebedivrei Marik Sham, because in the words of the Marik there, Mashma the Svirale, the Laban and Dafka in front of Mamish. From his wording there, it sounds like he's not holding that it has to be Mamish in front of him. V'chein harivash yesh leimar shemeida she'im achar kach k'shebo baila hi machzekes b'kedushin. V'im meresh nizgar shemenu tiyane menes. And furthermore, the Rivash, who admits that if after this, when the husband comes and she's already Makadish and she says that he divorced me, she's believed. Why? Because she already knew that the second her husband's going to hear about this, he's going to come. So she already knows she's gonna have to have the chutzpah and say it straight to his face. So since she already knows he's coming, what do you call it? Right? So it's not like a case of like she thought her husband was away, so she said it. Now it turns out he came back to the city last night, and now she's facing him. No. This is a case. He's in the city. She knows he's in the city. And now she's doing a kiddushin with somebody else. Well, you don't think your husband's going to find out? And then obviously, if he finds out, he's going to come and challenge it. So therefore, the chazaka stands of isha meiza b'fnei baila, that a woman's not going to have the chutzpah to say this if it wasn't true in front of her husband. There are those that doesn't agree with him, pushed away his words. Because the Marik in the end of that tshuva, Kosav Lehedia, he writes clearly Shemaydahu She'im He Atz Imay Ba'ir. Loy Amra b'fun of Mamash Ikarayusa, Ikalamechash Lam Meshakra. That the Marik himself writes exactly the opposite. What does he say? He says that if he's in the city and she does it not in front of him, Adarabba, it's not proof she's telling the truth because he's gonna come and he's gonna, what do you call it, right? It's just the opposite. It's proof that she's lying. Because if he's in the city, then why didn't you just go and say it in front of him? Why are you saying it not in front of him? He's in the city. It would have been easy for you. So it seems the Marik holds exactly the opposite. And some write on the some write on the words of the Marik, on the opinion of the Marik. Shekol Masha Kosav, the Ikore Yusuf, B'Masha in Medestanis B'Fnei Baila, that this that he wrote, that there is that there is a spoiling of the chazaka of Leimi Izel, in the fact that she's saying it in front of her husband. This is when this is in a different case. This is like when she's claiming that like he doesn't have the manly potency and similar. But here that she accepted the kedushin from the betrothal from somebody else. In this, there's not there's no spoiling of the chazaka in the fact that she says it in front of and not in front of her husband. Because according to her claim, they're already divorced. What business does she have with her and him together anymore? They got divorced. And so too in the Rivash, it's explained in front of Mamish that it needs to be Mamish in front of him. And now maybe, and not even if she has a chazaka on her words in front of him, it's possible she won't be trusted. Why? Like we said before, what happens if she first says it not in front of him, then he says it in front of him, right? Which according to some spoils the chazaka, because now she's already a step closer to lying in front of him. And now he's coming, so now she has to lie in front of him, which is not going to lie in front of him. The chain mashma mistimus hapeiskim, and so too it sounds like from how most the peiskim rule, like admainim, the early peiskim, the fun of mamish beinin, it's that it needs to be in front of him. Mamish has to be actually in front of him. The loy mahani mashin is kachir kishabal be'ir, and it doesn't help the fact that she got betrothed while her husband's in the same city. Achin halacha, however, in practicality, in actual ruling, yesh ma'acharinim shepasku lahakil. There are those from the later sages that they ruled to be lenient. She'im mabal ba'ir nechshav adavik b'fanav, that if the husband is in the city, it's considered in front of him. Ukedas mechaber shesasam kareish, and like the mechaber paskins here, according to the Rosh, the Afarama lehi chriya kedas hachilkim el rakevi devreim, and even the Ramah, he's not lav dafke. Is he arguing with the mechaber? Rather, he's just it could be he's just mentioning that and by the way, there's this other opinion. Not that he's arguing, but it could be that he really agrees 100% with the mechaber also. But being that there is such an opinion, he wanted to bring that out. The af im hichmer bazeh. And even let's say that the Ramah was machmir in this, that he holds like the ones that know it has to be in front of him mamish. It could be that he's only coming to be machmir, not that now we're going to make her get divorced from the second one, but rather if she just that she should not get married to the second one without a get if she has not already married him. But if they already did nisuin, then we wouldn't make them get divorced. So now the next thingy here is, we said the mechaber continues. And the inishim is b'nei bailo leimar gerashtani hani mili heicha de leik de misayela aval heicha de ika de misayela meizo. All of this is when she stops saying it, but there are no supporting facts to this. Right. However, if there are other or that there isn't another witness, maybe also this could be. Obviously, it's going to be talking about one witness in this case. It seems like it'll be talking about one witness, because if it's two witnesses, what's the problem? You're
Right.
not trusting her. You're trusting the witnesses.
Yeah.
Trust the witnesses. But let's say one witness. Let's say there's one witness supporting her. So in that case, we don't trust her. Meaning we would trust her herself without the witness. But once she's bringing a witness, now we can't trust. Why? Because the witness you can't trust. You can't trust the one witness. Unless, like we said before, it's like unless he's like some say that if he was the Rav that's Masada to the get, then
Right.
that's a different story.
Why don't we just go back to just relying on her?
Why? Because this is funny because it's like a counterintuitive thing, right? Because the problem is now it wrecks her chazaka of Isha and Meiz, of Isha and Meiz of Bailo. And since there's a witness supporting what she's saying, even if she's lying, she'll have the chutzpah. She will. It's not because it's not as big of a chutzpah because somebody's
Right.
back.
She could be like, I'm
So
going
now,
on along with what he's
right?
saying.
So it's not, since it's not as big of a chutzpah. We say that much chutzpah she will have, a person will have, and therefore we can't believe her.
Because it's not completely reliant on her word,
Right.
she is right. She's not gonna be as
Right. And furthermore, if she gets married to somebody else, not in front of her husband, uh, let's say depending on which opinion, let's say he's out of the city, right? Just to make it clean. Let's say your husband, not only he's not in front of her, right, but she's not, he's especially Machaber holds that way, so he's not in the city, and she gets married to somebody else. Then when he comes back, she says you divorced me. Also, she's not trusted. Why? The kivan shekvar nises, since she already got married to somebody else, and by the way, nises means she consummated a marriage with somebody else.
right.
So then meiza. Then she's gonna what do you call it? She's for sure gonna that she's gonna have the chutzpah to do. Why? Because she has to cover herself up, right? She's like tasa atzma zayna. She shouldn't make herself a loose woman, right? She's a woman. If she doesn't say you divorced me, she's admitting that she's a woman who was with another man while she's married to her husband still. So in this case, we say she's gonna she will have the chutzpah, and therefore we can't believe her. V'yesh misha aimer, and some say afilu loy niseis, even the marriage wasn't consummated. Ella niskachaloi, but rather she only betrothed him. Shaloi b'fnei bailan, not in front of her husband. V'acher kach b'bailan, after the husband comes, and she says gerashtani, and in a manner she's not trusted. Why? Ultimately the same reason, because now that she already did something, so now she has to go and cover her evilnessness, right? And it's so then she's gonna have the chutzpah, and our whole thing here hinges on the idea that a woman will not have the chutzpah to do it. So any case that changes that spoils the chazaka of she won't have chutzpah to say such a thing if it weren't true, so we can't trust her now. Some say if there was a fight between them, or that she's trying to claim her ksuba money, her divorce money, that then even in front of him doesn't help. Why? Again, same thing, because they're fighting with each other. So the idea that she's beholden to him and that she's not going to have the chutzpah, and what's it called? Hey, she's fighting with him. She's of course she's going to have the chutzpah. They're
Right.
these divorce cases. So what's it called? They're scratching at each other.
Right. Sometimes we'll say or do whatever we can to hurt the other person.
Yeah. So and for sure she's going to have the chutzpah. Okay. So now, Evan Bruda Chavtes Imni says. So if she gets married, right? We said if she gets married to another person in front of her, not in front of her husband, and then after that she says in front of her husband she's not trusted, because otherwise she'd be making herself like a zayna. Not like a zayna, she'd actually be making herself a zayna. Quite literally, should be admitting to being a zayna. Kain das harash. This is the opinion of the Rosh. However, from the words of Rashba, it's clear that he argues with this. That even if she gets married to somebody else, if she goes back and says in front of her first husband that you divorced me, according to the Rashba, he's believed. She's believed. Well, halacha nira, and it seems halacha that halacha, it seems like we hold like the mechaber, like the Rosh, that when she was got married to somebody else, we should be machmer and not trust her. Yeah. V'tzricha get mizeh mizeh, and she needs divorce from both of them. The machlekes shekulahi bin Rash b'larash. V'liavdin lahakol kerash b'leimash leiseitzi, because it's a balanced argument between the Rashba and the Rosh, and we can't be lenient like the Rashba to say that that we're not going to make them get divorced, but rather la halacha, you have to where's this from? Okay, this is the Ezras Nashim. So it would seem that la halacha we would be machmeh, and we would make them we get she has to get a get from both of them. And some wrote that really this is what the mechaber means. He doesn't write that the nuke, right, because his wording before, right, when he was saying that doesn't count for anything, right? Because here we say if she got married to another person and then she comes later, before he said kiddushin ein teifsimba, which means the second marriage is nothing. She needs a get from the first husband. The second marriage was nothing. It's not a valid marriage. But it seems that over here, if you look at the Mechaber's wording, he doesn't say ein kiddushin teifsimba. He says she's not believed. So it would seem that even he could agree with this thing that it's lechumra and she needs a get from this one and from that one.
Right.
Why? Because the kivan shekvar nises meisa. Because we say that once she gets married, now she's gonna have she's gonna have the chutzpah to say this. The Meiri added another reason. The kivan the nises ozlo lo hisufa lebal rishin legamri. Kisufa, I think here means like love, like nichzifa v'gam kol sanavshi.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it means here. Kisufa is like right. That's like in the Likutei Torah, the actually I guess it would be in Torah because it's in Bereshis. But you know what is it? Arba meis shekel kesef evil laseicher. So it talks about kesef miloshin kisufin nichsefa. So I think that's what he's talking about here. Is that since once she gets married, it goes ozlala. I mean, it leaves her. It goes away from her. And any love for her first husband altogether, right? Meaning before, fine. Even listen, she's well. First of all, she says according to her claim, anyways, she's saying you divorced me. Right? But who says she even wanted him to divorce her? And even they're fighting, right? But there's some. It's like a mixed bag of emotions, you know. Listen, why are women so angry when a husband in the courts, whatever, right? And they're fighting over something stupid, and not just that, to the point where they'll hurt their own kids in their desire to scratch each other, right?
Yeah, well, either spouse would do that, yeah.
Right. Either, yeah. Right, but I'm saying right now we happen to be talking about the wife. That's why I'm just putting it there.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. And here's the thing: neither of them, right? By the way, I know people like this. No, I'm not saying like that's this is I make a point of like you know being good friends with all the good job. No, but I meaning I know personally of such cases, whatever, and I know these people. We're not talking about people who are stam looking to get into fights and scratch everybody. We're not talking about people who otherwise are like this. All of a sudden, when it becomes divorce, they're like this. Why? It's because there's still it's because there's feelings involved still, right?
Right.
So therefore, that's why we say she won't have the chutzpah to say it in front of him, even when she's divorced from already. Right? She's saying you divorced me. So what do you mean she won't have chutzpah in front of her husband? But according to her, the divorce rate's not her husband. But still, there's a certain amount of feeling still there. However, once she's married to somebody else, she's now given her heart over to somebody else, so to speak. It loses. I mean, I don't know. You can say it loses altogether. There's always some kind of right, but the bottom line is it changes. Why? Because now her she's emotionally invested in somebody else, right? Like we always know that in order to have a success. As a matter of fact, not only when somebody divorces, even when the first husband dies, God forbid, right? There's a certain amount that a woman needs to disconnect herself from that. You know what I'm saying? She can't keep living, because then how's she going to give herself over to the second husband? So for sure, by a divorce, where she has to, like, there's a certain letting go that has to happen there. And so we say now that she's done that letting go, she doesn't have the same busha, the same like embarrassment in front of her first husband. And since she doesn't have that busha, so now we can't apply this law of a woman doesn't have the chutzpah in front of her husband.
Right.
Now he said, "Shaloi tasa atzma zayna." She should not make herself a zayna. V'chein misha zinsa tchila in a menace. So this is not only talking about that she got married, right? That she consummated a marriage with somebody. Let's say she wasn't getting married to him. She just had relations with somebody, random guy. She had relations with him. Ain't a menace. If so, meaning, and she does this before she comes to the husband and says, "You divorced me." Also, she's not trusted. So, meaning when it's talking about niseis that she consummated a marriage, lav dafka marriage, it means that she could have consummated a not marriage, as long as there was some kind of consummation going on. Then you can't trust her. Why? Because same problem. Because the alternative is the alternative to saying you divorced me is admission that she was unfaithful during her marriage, which, like we had in Sif Aleph, is a very, very bad, stringent thing. One of the worst possible, interestingly, this is on Yom Kippur, right? When you think we'd be talking about what's it say on Yom Kippur? What's the decree on the most important day of the year is about darayis, about inappropriate relationships. So it's a very stringent thing. So therefore, in order to get herself out of this stringent thing, or people knowing about this stringent thing, so then we say she's going to have the chutzpah to say you divorced me, even if it's not true. Right? So mishum shalei tachzak v'shedin tachz bailam izum. Right? Because so she shouldn't be viewed as being unfaithful under while still married. So she will have the chutzpah. And some say even if she was she did not consummate a marriage, she just received kedushin, just the monetary exchange. Ken das hatur l'kamon. This is the opinion of the Torah later. Like the Beis Yosef brings about the Gabayis. However, it would seem, based on how the Shulchan Aruch says it, right? Because the first thing he says when he talks about niseis, he doesn't say yesh misha emed. He just brings that as a fact. So from the fact that he says yesh misha emed pay, right? There's those that say he brings it as an opinion. So it would imply that the mechaber is not that certain about this. that it's not a certain thing. Aval Shmuel Kosev the Ein Leimer Sharash Hu Achilik Mid Kosev Atam Ben Nises and a menace Mishum Kadesh Leitaz Zainim Izo Mash Begdushin and menace. So he says that we shouldn't say that the Reish is the one. The Reish is the one who the Rosh. We shouldn't say that what the Rosh said, that he's the one who argues with this. Why and how are we inferring this? Because he wrote that the reason that when she consummated the marriage, she's not trusted, is because then she's making herself a Zaina. So it would, and therefore she has the chutzpah. But on the other hand, by betrothal, you would say then she's trusted, right? Why? So we would think that maybe that's what the Rosh holds. But no, says the Beis Shmuel. We actually, but it happens to be, we know he doesn't hold that. The Hokvar Kosav Vedika Bayis, that it's already written in Vedika Bayis, Sharosh Kosav Tamzer Rak Mipnei Haezer bin Nises. That the only reason, the Vedika Bayis writes that the only reason that Rosh gave this reason was that the case in front of him happened to be about Nises, happened to be about the consummated marriage. But really, the Rosh also holds that by Niskadsha, by only betrothed and not consummated, we still would say that she's not trusted because she would have the chutzpah. And we have to say, and we have to hold this way. Why? That if this is the case, then it's a contradiction between the Tur and the Rosh. And we already brought before, we already brought before that the Rashba argues with the Rosh. V'seiver, and the Rashba holds the Af ben Nises la'ibden nemanusa. He holds even by Nises, she's still trusted. But on the other hand, we found to the Ritba that he writes specifically like the Tur, and this is his wording. Even though now she's saying it after the Kedushin, after the betrothal, she's coming in front of him and saying, "You divorced me." But before this, she's not. Meaning, sorry, you divorced me before I accepted this betrothal. She's not trusted. Why? Why? Because it's not because she was in the Scottish with a not good kedushin. V'chol basa kedushin, v'chol basa kedushin miza. So everything after kedushin, she's gonna have the chutzpah. Why? Because to protect herself, that she would from saying that she received a betrothal with inappropriately. Why? To uphold her lie. I like how he puts it that way. To uphold her lie, meaning to uphold her prior lie. Now she needs a new lie to uphold the prior lie.
That's how lies work.
What's that?
Then that's how lies work, Bichlal. It's always one ends up building on top of another, and then another. It's just easier to always tell the truth because you don't have to keep track of anything.
Yeah. I forget who it was that said, I can tell you I'm telling the truth because I'm too stupid to lie. Meaning, what does it mean? What does it mean too stupid to lie? Meaning,
I can't keep track of all the lies
because I already know this lie is going to need a lot of money, and I'm not smart enough. I'm not smart enough to keep track of. I already know I'm not that smart to keep track of all these lies. So
that's great. I love it. I love that line.
Yeah, I'm too stupid to lie.
Too stupid to lie. That's wonderful.
So yeah, and it works this way in a lot of things. We just had the Hayem Yem. Where I put my cover thing for this? We just had in the Hayem Yem that it says that the source of all the source of all going down, right? Of all downgoings is the lack of aveda in davening. And right, this question is also okay. Listen, I mean, aveda in davening is a great thing, and it's obviously it's better to have it than not to have it. But that's the source of all, because now you have a sense of distance from the Eibishter. Whatever. It's in other words the same sort of thing. That's like, one thing led to another. So yeah.
Sense.
So that's the what do you call it? So now that in other words, if we can hold that she lied about one thing already on this thing, and rather than we're only judging on this statement, you divorced me, is this her lie or is not her lie? No, there's another lie we have to contend with. Once she had another lie and she has to protect that lie, we're gonna say no. She's gonna what do you call it? She will in fact continue her lies once she already had one. And it's interesting because the first lie was really a smaller lie, maybe, right? But it doesn't make a difference, because even though you have a smaller lie, but now you're already in range for the bigger lie. So since you're in range already, now it's not the same jump from not lying at all to a huge lie. It's not the same jump as a little lie, little lie, little lie. So all of this, right? This is we've seen this before a lot of times already in this if is where we're drawing a differentiation between niskadsha and dibur ba'alma, between she got betrothed to somebody else in front of her husband, or as opposed to she's saying in front of her husband that you divorced me. So all of this is when she actually did this action and got either, certainly if she got consummated a marriage with somebody else, and according to many opinions, it would seem possibly even the Mechaber's opinion, she got betrothed. However, it's possible that if she only spoke, that even after she says it not in front of him, that he divorced her, that she still trusted to say in front of him that he divorced her. And the Achreinim, they disagreed on what the opinion of the Tur is. In Masha Pasak, the Menes, if whether or not the Tur holds that it's the same by just saying, or it's different by just saying. Now, as far as the actual halacha, see before Shavenu Plukta that we brought the argument or the disagreement. Im Chayshinan la Chazuke Sheyikra Gam B'Dvarim Ba'olma. If we, what do you call it? If we worry about the chazaka of lying, right? Because what was the whole problem? The whole problem is we say, she meaning, like, this is the whole machlekes we had before, right? That what happens if she comes after? Do we say that no, since she wasn't trusted, we can't trust her because now she's a liar? Or do we say that no, we even though we didn't accept her testimony, right? Because it was technically not acceptable testimony, but she didn't make a liar of herself. She doesn't have a chazak of a liar, and therefore now that she's in front of the husband, we can trust her. But tzidadnu, and we leaned lahachmir bazeh, to be stringent in this. Since some of the early sages wrote clearly, the filo ba'miras nisgarashti gerida chayshinon shetoiz v'tishaker k'dei lahamid v'oreh. But we still worry that she's gonna lie. Why? Because, like we said before, remember, there's different reasons. One of them is when she said it before. It was the whole thing of some say, well, it's she said it in public, it's going to reach him anyway, and etc. etc. All these different things. And also at this point she made a public announcement, right? So she made a public announcement. She told everybody knows now that she announced that he divorced her. So now he's coming and challenging it. So of course she's gonna have to lie. She made a public thing, whatever. So that was the whole argument back there. Can we when she says to other people, he divorced me, and then she says it in front of him, can she be trusted or not? And over there, they leaned to be machmer in this. Ubeniskadsha needed the halacha, and so that's why what she just said. He divorced me, but she didn't accept betrothal. Has nothing to do with another man at this point. Just she's saying he divorced me. Right, like she's walking the street, and somebody says, "Hello, Mrs. Whatever. How are you? How's your husband? My husband? How's my husband? You ask? He divorced me. That's how he is." All of a sudden, her husband comes around the corner and says, "I what?" And the lady looked at the person she's talking to says, "Wait, what? You just your husband doesn't know about this?" "No, he's just making it up. He divorced me." She has to uphold those what she said before. Now, when it comes to niskadsha, when it comes to she actually accepted betrothal, so it would seem la halacha we are worried about the words of the tur. And what? And the and she should not get married to another guy. But it's possible if she already consummated a marriage with somebody else that we won't make her get leave that marriage. We won't make them get divorced. Okay, now we say that what if they were fighting? Same thing. Then she's gonna have chutzpah, right? So some say that the what kind of fight are they talking about here? He can move it's what's brought in the end in the conclusion of the Gemara in Yevamis. She'amra lebaila b'fun of Gereshtani, that she says to her husband in front of him, "You divorced me." B'fnei pleni upleni, in front of these two witnesses, this guy and that guy. V'shalu la'isam pleni upleni, and they asked those two witnesses. V'amru what's it called? Lahadam, right? It didn't happen. Never happened. Gavna. If she's gonna claim again, Shagirsha, that he divorced her in a minute, she's not trusted because. But this we've established that she's a liar. Some push this this explanation away. They don't agree with it. The Haim came that if so, pshita, it's obvious So it's obvious that why? Because in such a case, it's obvious that she's not going to be trusted to say she got divorced because she already made herself how do you say a kafranis?
I don't know.
It means like I think like a denier or whatever, but meaning she's established herself a liar already in this matter, right? So we already see she's willing to lie about this thing. Why? Because she lied about these two witnesses that were there already. So if that's the case, she's probably lying about the whole thing. We could say she's lying about the whole thing also. So if that's the case, why is Mechaber bringing it as a yesh emrim? It's a pashat the thing that we now wouldn't trust her. So why is the Mechaber now saying yesh misha emir? There is who says that, etc., etc. It doesn't fit. So therefore, those people, those who push off, those who push away, that this is what the fight's about. They say no, it can't be talking about that. That's what that about that fight from the Gemara Yevamis. Rather, it's talking about different sorts of fights. The Av Bahem, that even in those other fights, that fight from Yevamis, it's pashut that she's now not trusted about it anymore. But even if they're having, so then what are we talking about? We're talking about stam other fights. That even if they're having other fights, we can't trust her. Why? Because she's looking to scratch, you know. Yeah. V'yeshe kosov the af im neymar kan the dafke be'imeres gerashtani have a getata. There are those that say that even if we say here that specifically when she says you divorce me, when there's a fight. But that, so what does it mean? Meaning that it doesn't have to be in a way specifically that there was two Adam and they contradicted her. But rather this is also the halacha in different scenarios. That she's not trusted with the claim of my husband divorced me. Okay, going for example, we have the case we're talking about so much over here, and you see if it's not like she said it not in front of him. That in all these different various cases, it's considered like there's a argument between them. And she's no longer trusted. Even if she's going to say in front of him, that they were divorced. And as far as practically speaking, the Kosov Achreinim, the later sages wrote, the Miloshen Hatur HaShulchan Aruch Ushor HaPeskim Mashma de Bechol Inyani Ketota Mairi. That the halacha we would hold that according to the Torah, the Shulchan Aruch, and the Shor HaPeskim, based on all of on different things in the language they use, like for example, the fact that, like we said before, that the Mechaber uses the Loshen Yesh Mishayimid, there is an opinion that says. So it's clear that it must be talking about a different any kind of ketata, not specifically the one from Yevamis, which is Pashut. And therefore we should learn out to be stringent. When she receives a kedushin from somebody else, then she needs a get from this one and from Mizah and from this one and this one. And not just when we're talking about the case of she said to her husband, you divorced me. and Edim contradicted, witnesses contradicted her, which is the case in Yevamis. Ella af b'sharik tatis, but rather also in it could be any fights. Tata b'neihem, says the Mechaber, right? There was a fight by them. The common b'sif memches b'din isha imeres meiz baila. Later on in Seif 48, the long simon. Later on in Seif 48, in the law of a woman who says that her husband died, Kosav Rama, the Rama writes, she'im heimir baila v'hinich aguna. How do you say heimir? Hamir, right? Hamir yamir, but what is it? Heimir baila isa. What is it? It's from it's in the Torah.
Yeah, I don't. Sounds familiar, but I don't.
It's talking about the rights of different, what's it called, the women and the slave women and their servant women and all these kind of things. Second. Where is it? Yeah. But I just don't remember the exact. Changed. Exchanged. He got a new model.
Exchanged. Okay.
He got a different model. And he leaves her in Aguna, right? I guess it means like if he runs off with another woman. Right? Then, right, and leaving her in Aguna. So that makes sense. Then Dino Kiktata ve'in menace. Then the law is like is like they're fighting, and she's not trusted. Right? Meaning, her husband runs off with another woman, not without giving her a get, and then what does she say? Oh, he died. I know he died. You don't believe her. And some, so there are those that wrote Shalafizeh, that according to this, Hu Adin Khan, so too it should be here. She's not believed in such a case. Right? Meaning she doesn't say he died. He runs off with another woman. And she says he divorced me. So just like in the case where she said he died. I mean, the only difference being that that in the case of he died, it would be very funny if he showed up to challenge it. Whereas in this case, him showing up to challenge it, you still don't know. But in either case, we say we can't trust her because she's gonna have chutzpah towards him because he ran off with another woman. V'yesh shedachuzais, and some disagree with this. They push this away. The hachal ishayach tamach shash yesh be'emeres meis baila. because here you don't have the same reason of suspecting that there is when she says the husband died. Why? Because she's saying it in front of him. In that case, if he was in front of us, we could tell good and well if he's dead or not. And also similarly, in where they both admit to a divorce. But he says that he was a puzzle for giving a get. I mean, and she's contradicting this. Some say also she's not trusted. This is not any different than it's not any less of a case than if there was a fight between them. The Me'ezer that we say that no, she would have chutzpah. There's some that argue with this according to the shittas. According to the shita that says that it's talking about the case in Yavamis, that there was Adam that what do you call it? V'yesh kosav shebegerisha al tanai v'terem kiyum hatanai pashta Yodah v'kibul kedusha me'acher leika chazak denim me'iza. Some say that if he divorces her on a condition, and the condition is no longer, the condition has not yet been fulfilled, and then she puts her hand out and accepts kedusha from another person, she also doesn't have the chazaka that she wouldn't have the chutzpah. Being that a divorce with a condition is counts as an argument between them. And some say that when her husband goes and marries another woman, then the first woman automatically is excluded from coming back and saying from this whole thing. In other words, the second when he goes and marries another woman. The second he marries another woman. Now this is a little bit different than the case before. The case before we're talking about and he runs away from her. In this case, I mean he leaves her in Aguna. In this case, he got married to another woman, right? So our assumption is he's married to both of them. But when he marries another woman, now the first wife it loses her chazaka of Einem Me'iza. The matzav zeh shehu ozav Isa, that this situation that he left her v'lokach acheres and took another ein l'cha k'tot g'delim mizu. There's no fight bigger than this. There's no bad hurt feelings bigger than this. So the question is now, what if he got married to another one and did not leave the first one? Or on other way around, he didn't marry anybody. He left his house and is living far. Went to live further from there. Furthermore, it's unclear what would be the case if they're separated but not divorced, right? Let's say they're separated, but they're not. There's no gittin yet. They're just separated, and then she comes and says, "You gave me a divorce. Can we trust her or not?" Because the separation is a ktata maybe. So, in short, it would seem that all of these different things would fall under the umbrella of the argument in Lamed Gimel of is it the specific case from Yavamis that there was two Adam who were makisher, right? It's two Adam that contradicted her, or are they talking about any kind of ketatis? And all of these, he says, would pretty much fall under the any kind of ketatis. Shetivas ksuba also, he said, or she's claiming her ksuba. She's also not trusted. The yeshlachu shema imeres ken gedei ligbis ksuba, that maybe she's saying this so that she can collect on her ksuba. Ken kosu harbe rishenim. Many of the early sages wrote this way. V'chein psak Shulchan Aruch. When she says that her husband doesn't have the manly potency, and also it could be that she's trying in that case where we say that we're worried that she's trying to collect her ksuba. It's not. We don't find clearly somebody who argues on this. Elo shamari kos of the doctic b'teisvis, but the marik wrote to be medactic on teisvis. Shegam b'tevas ksubosa matirin eisli, that even when she's claiming her ksuba, we allow her to get married. Verak she'ein lemenes in ksuba. Just what? We just don't trust her in as much as the ksuba itself is concerned. Why? Because that's a financial matter. So we can't trust her for a financial matter because a financial matter has to be done in a certain way. But in terms of trusting her to the ksuba, he would say fine. And he also specified this based on the words of the Rambam. That we allow her to marry even when she's claiming her ksuba. And many that learned this way also. Af sheyesh mi shechelik alzeh, even though there are those that argue on this. Ava b'das teisvis cholku al kol peskim, and the das teisvis argued with all the peskim. V'naktu b'daitam this savri shagam le'inyan heter nisun in a menace. They hold no. She's not, if she's trying to accept to collect her ksuba, it's not just for the ksuba. She's not accepted. She's not accept. We don't accept her. She's not trusted for anything. Also, as far as we don't let her get married to somebody else, right? Because remember, there's two different things. There's the Indian of can we? She does. The bottom line is this whole problem here is she doesn't. We don't have the get here. Can we believe her without a get? No, to collect a ksuba, we can't believe her. You want a ksuba, bring the get. In other words, it's like if you're gonna tell me, right? If I'm gonna tell you, look, I'm gonna go to the treasury. I have the old school dollar that's worth a certain amount of gold.
Right.
I don't know where the dollars are. Can you give me the gold? And no, you got to bring me the dollar and the money, and I'll give you the gold. But that's as far as the financial thing is. But now, fine. So she doesn't have the get. She can't collect for the ksuba. Just because she can't collect the ksuba, it doesn't. There's a whole separate issue. Are we trusting her as far as she was divorced or not? Why? Because this will determine can she get married to somebody else. So it's two different things. Because we can say, okay, she's going to get married to somebody else, but she can't collect. Don't pass go. Don't collect 200. Sorry, you can pass go, but you can't. There's the cards that you pass that go to such and such a block. If you pass go, do not collect 200. Right? So she can pass go. She just can't collect the 200. Amnam lahalacha ein tzarich lachriya bozeh. She's lamer the belav achin aktin and din zek safik that you don't have to spend too much time resolving all this. He says because even without this they learned this out like a suffix, not like a certain thing. Shetiva asks subasa. Sif kat lam above. She's claiming a ksuba. Yeshe topic. There are those that were uncertain. Not really uncertain about. The Tach and the Aid Khan, the Ad Khan leich miru at this varash. Betivas kvosa in a menace. Elo davke kisha amra gerash tani v'temlik subasi. That up until now they were only mocked about this at all when she specifically like presents it as one thing. You divorced me, now give me my ksuba. Pay me, now pay. Aval kasher maskir betvi osa gam sheiraitze patli nosi. But when she's bringing up in her claim that she wants also to the heter to get married, to be freed from the marriage so she can remarry. Because it's possible it's possible that even they would allow her. However, the Maisa, since she brought up the ksuba. So then we have to suspect that from the love of money she'll have chutzpah. Oh, b'shal teshuvas haradbaz, kosav the mistaber the hoda in a menace ze lav davke k'shtav k'subas behedya. El afilim hiskira isa rak beremez. So he holds there that even not if he said it clearly, but even if she said it clearly, but even if she just hinted, it's still we still suspect that's her that's what her agenda is all about here. Well, Haezer Shamani adds there shekol davar nidla based in anything that appears to based in. Okay, so this is where we come back to what, like in a lot of things, is that at the end of the day, anything that seems to based in that she's cheating, she's being dishonest here. Why? She's being dishonest so that to hide the fact that really she's trying to get ksuba money. Kadeshi Imuna Bastin, and she wants Bastin to trust her, so she's being dishonest. Loy mehem neklah, we don't believe her at all. So if Bastin suspects she's being not, how do they call it, not forthcoming, then we don't believe her at all. V'yeshe kosov, and there are those that write the adrabe, that other way around. The miskira rakis ksubasa pshit shenemenes. If she specifically brings up the ksuba, she's not, then for sure she's not trusted. Umau shenechel gorishenim sheyesh emrim shenemenes, and this that some of the rishenim argue and say she's trusted. Hainu davke kasher hiskira gam shiatiru linasi. Even when they allow her to go get married again, she's still bringing it up. Taisvis Aruch dechmiru, and the Tasvis and Taisvis and the Rosh that were stringent there. Mairu, what were they talking about? Gamba Eifen shehizkira shiatiru linasi. That the ones that are being makil are only if they basically the ones being makil say no, only if she brought up just the ksuba, then we don't trust her. But if she brought it up along with other things, such as that she's trying to get remarried, then it's fine. Whereas the Rosh and the Taisvis, what's their chumrah? Is they say that no, even if she brought up the ksuba along with other things, it's still no good. And in these cases, all these cases, I feel a fun of. Even in front of him, we can't believe what she's saying. Lamed Zayin, Sivkatan, Eina Menes Lemigashtani. She's not believed to say that you divorced me. We need to search and clarify these opinions? Are we saying that she's not trusted at all, like tafsi b'kedusha and that somebody else's betrothal is doesn't take effect? Right. So, or that she's not trusted to the lenient. Okay. We'll finish. We're almost in the base. We'll finish the base on the next round. Let me turn off the live stream here.
Live stream, I think, was with my thing.
What?
I think I just changed it 20 minutes ago.
Oh yeah, but but that's gonna change this. It's gonna change this one, no?
That changed this one that you're on. I mean, when I went there was nobody on there.
When it was probably earlier. It was probably before 9. Yeah. So hold on 1 second. Let me see. So hold on a second. So here's how do I have to do it? Let's see. I think the way to do it is you have to change it back and then stop the live stream and then restart.
Correct. Then we'll start a new one. Yeah, that's fine.
So let me go on 1 second. I have it open here.
Yeah. You have it open. You change it back and stop the live stream, and then we'll restart. We have an interesting video today. You know, the Rebbe with a new car. Remember that? 1986. Today's Gemara. One who hates gifts will live long.
Okay, so now let's go back on here. On and okay, custom live streaming service. How do I stop it?
Stop live stream.
Yeah, but it's not. Are you the host or am I the host now?
Oh, I have to make you host. Okay.
Or just or just stop the live stream.
Let me just stop it.